What is going on, people? It is the DELO with another episode of On the DELO. How are you today? What episode is this? I think it's 124. I'm not even sure at this point, but we're getting busy. Yes, we are 124. So here's the thing. We've got a list of guests that are coming up. I wanted to do a couple, solo podcasts in between. So you had gotten the one last week, and guess what? Now you're getting another one this week. And today we're going to talk about the significance of networking and relationship building in both your personal and your professional life. And this is something that we're going to talk about in my book that I just wrote as well. Again, the title forthcoming, but very excited about it. The book is written. It's just about formatting and putting the course together that I'm going to have online for people to be able to purchase. So just very excited, 50 years of life here and 30 years in business, built up an amazing insurance agency doing about $6 million in revenue. And learning how to navigate everything from employees to client situations to, handling marketing to monies to salespeople to you name it. I've learned a lot over the years, and even before that, having created relationships through the record industry and still relationships that I hold today. Just talked to one of my first people I worked with over at Warner Brother Records just the other day and was reminiscing a little bit about that industry and what was going on. So a lot of exciting stuff to be able to share as I progress into my later years of life with experience and knowledge and things that I can give to you as a person that, may or may not want to reinvent the wheel and pick up a few nuggets of what it is that I've been able to dig out of the ground over the years. So there's some gold here. It's just a matter of, like I said, putting it through the sleuth box and washing the dirt away and finding the bright piece of gold. And yes, I am watching a lot of gold shows on Discovery channels. I don't know why, but I'm very much into that. And I think I will go panning for gold this weekend up in Sholo, even though there's probably no gold up there, but it's just nice to know that I can do that if I want to. So anyways, I want to get into maybe we can do a little bit about sharing a story, and here's the thing, everything in life is about relationships. And I know I podcasted in the past about relationships and all that, but when you create relationships and you create the ability to have confidence and tell your story and be yourself, and you have the engagement of somebody's ears, and you're having this interplay between two human beings that are talking, it creates not just a relationship, but it creates let's just say the path to networking. And that's networking in the sense of you're not selling anything. You're getting to know other human beings that are doing other great things that are helping you understand the other ways of life that are out there, because we get so locked up in our own, let's just say, our own four walls that sometimes we think that the world is only within those four walls. But when you go out and you network both personally and in business, you start to realize that there are so many other people, there are so many other ideals, there are so many other concepts that we just don't know about. And when you start to learn something new, it's the antithesis of growth. And growth within inside a person creates purpose, and purpose creates a mindset that allows you to live in a world of just let's just say I don't know, a world of growth and positivity and having a purpose to find not just the passion that you already have, but maybe other passions down the road. So, when I look at, on a personal level, when I look at 8 years ago when I started, working out over at Jeremy Scott Fitness, it was funny because my wife, who had done some modeling pictures with Jeremy for magazines and stuff like that when she was doing that stuff, She had introduced me to Jeremy. She's like, I think you'll like him. He calls everybody dude, and he's just kind of, just laid back, and he's just got a, a good approach to, how he does his business. And she was right. I mean, I had taken to Jeremy when I had first met him, and at first that had turned into a social engagement, an engagement of me employing his services to train me, to make me a killer, physically, and to take accountability for my physicalness, and to learn from him, to learn about macros, which, insanely to me 8 years ago, I didn't even know what a macro is. And now I count every meal based on a macro. It's nuts. And it really wasn't that hard. But back then it was hard because it is math, and I'm not very good at math. So I get to know Jeremy over the years, and we just built up a friendship over those years. He saw me grow in the last 8 years. I saw him grow in the last 8 years. And in my last 8 years, again, when it goes back down to compounding interest, my last 8 years have been compounding even harder and further and better than, say, the 20 years before that, because it's all growing on those, past 20 years. And now you're just going up, up, and up. And now I'm in year 30, and I just feel things on a weekly basis compounding even more. And it's funny because as we get older, my wife and I were talking about this, a day, a week feels like a day, and like a month feels like almost like a year. I mean, if that makes any sense. I guess as you get older, the day feels like an hour compared to 24 hours. It just goes by so fast. You see the sunrise, the sunset, and boom. And I think the fact that I go to bed before the sun goes down during the summer probably doesn't help, but I am up pretty early. So when you look at just that relationship there and what that turned into. Now, Jeremy and I run a great mastermind. We do business together. We have a lot of fun. We're able to educate and help others and give advice and do stuff like that. That was networking. That was networking in a personal basis of getting to know somebody who you appreciate, who you've hired to, create a better situation for you personally. And it created a business out of it. And it's great. And I love it. And it's something that, again, it helped me discover another passion that I didn't know that I had, because you don't know what your next passion necessarily will be until you get there and you're like, God, I really like doing this. And I had no idea running a mastermind and talking to people and one-on-one and group coaching would be fun for me. But it is fun now because of the knowledge and all the stuff that I've been able to acquire and I can share with others. And that's a lot of it, is being able to share all of this stuff. I can't take this shit with me. And as I tell everybody, after I die, within 5 minutes of me dying, everybody's going to forget about me anyways. It's just not that big of a deal. So like, let's really make shit happen while we're here, and that's what I am here to do. So as I look at my early days in the music industry, and I look back at journals, and I look at the people that I worked with, and I look at all the experiences that I had, sometimes I have to really scratch my head and say, was I really my son's age now in my 20s, and I'm sitting here with Edward Van Halen, or I'm sitting here with Anthony Kiedis from the Chili Peppers, or I'm in Madonna's office with her manager interviewing for a job for Maverick Records. I mean, I was doing shit that nobody was doing at that age. And was that, meant to be? Was that the intervention of spirit saying, hey, dude, this is what you were meant for? Yeah, probably was some of that. If you believe in that sort of thing, I know I do. And I took the best out of those situations, and I created relationships, and I built and I built and I built more and more networking through all of those people. And I literally just talked to somebody who was a bigwig at Maverick Records back in the day, and Maverick is Madonna's own label. They had, a lot of famous artists on there, from, Alanis Morissette. I think a lot of people have heard of her, to The Prodigy, to Candlebox. And I worked a lot of those records with him. And, now he's in his 60s, I'm in my 50s. And it's just funny because he was a high exec at a younger age back then. And boy, did we party back then. But we reminisced. I hadn't talked to him in probably, 2 decades. But he follows me on Facebook and sees this sort of stuff. And you can revert back to those times when you built that relationship with that person. And now he's calling me 20-something years down the road to ask me for a favor for something because of what I've built and what I've done. And a lot of what I've built and what I've done is based on the networking and the partnerships of what I built early to create what I have now. Listen to that. To what I built early to create what I have now. So that is the thing. We are always, if we're into it and that is our motivation and we want to build a business and we want to be quote unquote successful in our eyes and those around us, we are layering bricks upon bricks upon bricks to become more of, let's just say, the success that we've already created. We want to create more of that. We want to create that strong foundation, which then creates this huge array of, rooms and buildings and castles and all sorts of stuff that we've been able to do. So the past does matter in the essence that you utilize it to grow, what you're doing today and in the future, and living by those experiences and those in that confidence. So part of what I do talk about in the book and what I want to talk about now is how do we network? I know it's kind of like, duh, how do you network? Yeah, you just show up and you talk to people. Sort of. But what is the ingredient or the ingredients, like when you make a cake? What are the things that go into it? So what are the ingredients when you're getting into network and to doing things? So part of it is just having effective communication. When you're there with a purpose. You're there with an understanding. And again, not with a purpose to sell somebody something. It's with a purpose to actually communicate effectively, to highlight the importance of, being empathetic and being very clear on who you are and what you do and how you do it, and sharing value and sharing tips and communicating that effectively to really build the strong professional relationships that you're trying to build within these sectors. And I know when I don't go out to many meetings, these quote unquote network functions that much anymore because they're at night and I like to be at home at night. But when I do go out to them, I know that I'm sacrificing a part of my time that I might be rather doing something else. So I have to make a really conscious effort to say, no, I'd rather be doing this now, and I'm going to make the best of it. And the last time I did that was about a month ago. It was for, a local area. It was only a mile from my house, so it was kind of easy to talk myself into it and go down there. But I made 3 amazing contacts, and I've already been on one podcast with one, and met a couple other people that have given me some value, and their words back to me is that I gave them value. So effective communication at these places and at these events, and being empathetic and listening to them and creating value. That's number one. Again, when you're discussing and understanding and sharing the feelings of others, you can really strengthen those connections. And so it's about listening. It's about listening, and it's about not just listening to listen, but listening to how do I say, engage, and to, again, let them know that you care. And it goes, again, back to empathy. So, a lot of times when I was younger, and some of the biggest mentors, in my life, or people that I remember, are people that had actually taken that 5 minutes, that 10 minutes with me to actually listen to me. I'm a kid at this time. I'm nervous. I'm scared. I have no idea where my future is going. I don't know what I'm doing from here on out, but I did know that I wanted to do something great, and I wanted to do something great in music, and I wanted to be something. And so I would go out to these events where, early 20s, I'm in this big industry with all of these famous people, and even the execs were, for lack of better terms, they were famous to me because we're at these big record signings, or say an artist had a book signing. You've got loads of people waiting to get in the sign stuff, and like I'm sitting back in the back of a Tower Records with the Goo Goo Dolls at the time after they launched one of their biggest albums, and we're just sitting there, and I'm looking at these guys just like, rapping out, not even thinking about it. And the reason why I didn't have to think about it is because these are people that are just people that are giving you time and giving you courtesy, and they're just treating you like a human about life and doing all that sort of stuff. And so that's, I had more of those instances even in that industry than I didn't. A lot of people would just think, oh my God, people are, you hear a lot of the stories, I guess you would say, online or elsewhere, and you hear the stories about people being treated bad by celebrities, this and that. It just wasn't the case with me. These all people just treated me fairly and nicely, and they were so appreciative for all the things that I did that the label had asked me to do for them, and I got a lot out of that, and that helped me build empathy as I got older with my career, my life. And granted, I don't play a musical instrument. I try to, but I'm not like on stage and doing things to where people want photographs or pictures of me. But I do know that I have a value set skill, and a lot of times people will reach out for my time in this and that, and I try to be as empathetic and as kind as possible because of what I had learned in the past. So that's another aspect of it. Some strategies for networking both online and offline is really just to be transparent, to be yourself, to not be salesy, to not just throw things in people. I mean, again, I've talked about this. The worst thing in the world are these LinkedIn people that just hit you up and then you don't respond, then they hit you up again in a week and it's the same message and then you don't respond. And it's like, they don't even know who you are, and you just get these sales pitches. So online networking is kind of difficult, but at the end of the day, you can do it, again, if you're empathetic, if you're nice, and if you're really not trying to sell something, but you're authentically wanting to get to know somebody. Let them know that, and if they don't want to get to know you, that's okay. Move on to the next, quote unquote relationship that you want to build. I know that I've built relationships on Facebook with restaurateurs that I've admired, and I'm not trying to sell them insurance, although that's what I do and what I like to, of course, but that's not my first thing. It's not like, hey, Joe, I saw that you're mutual friends with so-and-so, and, I've got the best insurance product out there, so I think you should buy from me. No, it's not at all. It's like, hey, Joe, I saw that you're friends with so-and-so. Your restaurant looks amazing. I'm going to make it out there sometime. Would love to say hi to you if I'm ever out there. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things. You're being authentic, and you're wanting to network in a way that is not off-putting, I guess you could say. And then when you're networking offline, you're doing it in a sense where you're, again, I'll say this over and over again. You're giving value, you're giving value, you're giving value, okay? So Gary Vee talks about this all the time. His new book is on this. I mean, it's the whole value, and I totally agree with this. And I think there's not too many of us out there to where we can't just give value to everybody. It's kind of like the old days where you would trade seashells for sheep. Like I'm trying to give people value that can help them get more sheep. In other words, through my words and through my experiences and stuff like that. So again, it's empathy, it's value, it's authenticity, it's all those things that we always talk about here. And then sustaining these relationships. You want to make sure that you don't just set it and forget it. I think a lot of times people do that. They meet with somebody, and then they just basically forget about the person or the meeting or why they did it. I mean, today I went on a meeting, met some great dudes. They have a great product. May not be something that I use tomorrow, may not be something I use in 6 months, may not even be in a year, but I like their product, and if I get to that point to want to use it, I may use it in a year or less, or I may refer it. But what I do want to do is I want to take their information and I want to put it into a system that allows me to stay in touch with them. And that system is everything that we have online. It's this podcast, it's LinkedIn. So the thing is that I put myself out there, A, because I like it, but B, I really think that when people see you and they get to know you, and once you've met them in person and now you're following them or they're following you on all these other aspects, you're not just having one meeting and then being forgot about. They're seeing you pop up on whatever, or however many different platforms that they're on, and they're seeing you pop up. And they're getting to know you even better, and they're getting a little snippet of you here or there. And then when they think about somebody that needs what you have or what you're able to offer, you're the first thing that comes to mind because you're putting yourself out there. And that's the value that I get out of doing all this and sustaining a lot of these relationships, whether it be in person or online. So, I'm really excited about the book that I've written here. Again, 30 years of experience. I'm excited for you all to, get a snippet through this podcast and really promote it with everything that we have going on. This topic will be a major part of it, the power of networking and relationship building. We're also going to have a deep dive, course and strategies and the benefits of effective networking, within this book. So that's all being written now. And I think the key takeaways here is that I encourage you to, reflect on your own networking practices. What is it that you're doing or not doing? How can you improve on that? Why have you gone to many networking events? Do you like them? Do you not like them? What does networking mean to you? What is the definition of it? Once you can really pry into your own self and the way you do things and how you do them in this aspect, I think then you can strategize on the things that you want to do the same or different or grow in different ways. So, like I said, I hope you enjoy this. Please, if you have networking success stories or challenges, put them in comments down here. I would love to hear from you. Please follow me on social media, because that's a way that I can continue to connect with you. And if, look, a 20-minute podcast is too long to get through and you got through the last 5 minutes and you're hearing this, follow me on social. Get the short snippets. Get the little gems. It's not insulting to me if you get 5 seconds of me or 20 minutes of me. I just want to be able to, to give value and to be entertaining and to be fun and to have, something that you may want for your, professional growth, your personal growth, whatever that may be, but more importantly, to build a community. And I'm working on building that community with any and everybody that, reads and hears about this. And this is for everybody. This is for everybody. This is not discriminatory towards anybody that's not doing the same things for me or not. It's for people that really want to just have the most uplifted and beautiful and most beneficial life, and having the energy that I can, help give to you as a friend and as a, let's just say, a counterpart of energy out there, because I am the energy man. So follow me on Instagram at IamTheDELO5 for now, if you're hearing this. But also check out my LinkedIn and, leave a 5-star for the podcast if you get a chance. And, let me know if you need something. I'm more than happy to, check out your stuff and give you a review and talk to you and see what you're doing. So that's all we got for today. But I hope you enjoyed it. And until next time, we will check you out later. Peace out.